Hello and welcome to Trading Accelerator, Week 1, continuing on with this next session. I'm Corbs, and in this session, we're going to be looking at your very first charting package, TradingView. And this is the very first tool that we are going to be adding and we're going to be acquiring along this journey of becoming a trader. And as you go down this journey, there are several resources, weapons, tools that you will be acquiring and adding to your arsenal, if you will. And all of these are going to be stemmed from, and one of the foundational pieces is a charting package. A charting package is how you and I are going to interact with the market. And so when we talk about technical analysis, when we talk about looking for setups, doing research, all of this is going to come from you participating with a charting package. So it's not enough just to have access to one or to know that this is the one you use. You need to be intimately familiar with the tools, the resources that are available through your charting package, and how you do your analysis inside of it. It needs to be very friendly to you and something that you're extremely comfortable with because you will be using this a lot. As I said, this is the way that you interact with the data that the market gives you. And as a trader, a lot of the work that we do is behind a screen looking at charts. Here's what we're going to be covering in this session. How to set up a charting package, where to go to get it, how to choose which one. I'm going to be taking an in-depth look into TradingView. Again, getting you intimately familiar with this, showing you everything it has to offer, walking you through all the tools, all the resources, every step of the way so that you can have a high level of competence with this tool and the other resources that are going to be available to you with this package. And then at the very end, I'm going to be talking to you about setting up a paper account. By the end of this session, you will have the full ability to interact with the market in a real environment. And when you place trades and when you interact, instead of being linked to your account where it will affect your actual capital, it's going to be linked to a dummy account, a paper account, where there's not going to be any risk involved, okay? And so this is going to be a very powerful and important tool as we progress and as we start adding in things and talking about ideas and techniques and tactics so that you can actually start implementing them right away. And again, not have to worry about it impacting your capital negatively. And this will also give you the opportunity to do a lot of exploring and to do a lot of, as I said in the last session, wondering and really exploring out some of these other products, some of these other markets. And instead of just passively observing them or writing things down and documenting it on paper, having the ability to place trades and interact in a real market condition, and it'll track your progress for you, show your P&L, see how you're performing, and it'll be a very, very good benchmark that you can keep paper trading. And until you have proven on paper that you can see results and that you're starting to see some progress, then you can just stay there and you can progress into live trading once you start performing well in a simulated environment. It's your way of proving yourself and testing and making sure that you're going to be ready for the real thing. You can always keep going back if you're struggling with trading real as well. Okay, there's some definite downsides to a paper account, and I'm going to cover those later when we get into it, but it's a powerful tool that we need to have, and we're going to be setting it up in this session. So let's go ahead and jump into this charting package, the very first one we're covering. And again, this is TradingView. So the first thing you need to do is just open up your browser and go to tradingview.com. If you Google that, or you can just Google TradingView, but if you type in tradingview.com to your URL, it'll bring you to their home page. Now, there's a lot of things going on this page that you don't really need to worry about. At the top, there's just a bunch of tickers for some very popular products. There's a lot of options here. And then you'll notice with TradingView, there's a certain social aspect of it. It can get very loud and get very noisy, so you don't have to worry about this at all. But if you'd like to start exploring some of those things, they're definitely available and they're here for you. Now, what I want to walk you through first is if you're on this page, I'm currently logged in, but there'll be an option where you can either log in or you can sign up. Okay, it's completely free to sign up, but there are some paid for packages, and I want to talk to you a little bit about those right now. If you hover over the more, there'll be several features here, and you can go to pricing. This is going to show you the plans that are available to you and what the features are, okay? So they have a free basic version that you don't have to pay for. They have a Pro, Pro Plus, and they have a Premium. The prices are outlined right here. Now, for me, I don't have the option to subscribe to one of these free for 30 days, but it's definitely available to you. If you don't have a package, if you haven't, should I say, signed up for TradingView yet, then these start now, upgrade, or subscribe buttons, they're going to let you start, and it'll give you a free 30-day trial. Okay, again, you will also have access to the free one that you can just sign up an account for, and you don't have to pay anything. That is where I suggest you start. Grab yourself the free one, sign up. When you walk into this business of trading, we really have to start thinking about this like we're starting a business. The leaner your startup can be at the beginning, especially, the better. And so for things like Charting Package and other tools that you can subscribe to, there's no reason to do that right now, especially if you don't even know what you're looking to trade, so on and so forth, okay? Not that charting packages are very expensive, but still, you can just start with the free one, start messing around with it, and then when you're ready, you can upgrade and have a free 30-day trial for any of these packages, okay? So here's some of the plans. As a very intuitive breakdown right here that's easy to compare. It shows you the free, the Pro, Pro Plus, and Premium, and what the different prices are, as well as all the different features that come, which ones have it, which ones don't. One of the big things, the downsides, should I say, to the free package is that there are advertisements enabled. Okay, so there will be pop-ups and there will be commercials that you have to deal with. And just for one upgrade to the Pro, all of those go away. Okay, so what you can do here, and I don't want to walk through all these features, there should be very self-explanatory. And what you can do is, as you're looking through these, if you don't understand one of them, for instance, you can hover over, it'll tell you exactly what it is. And as you develop more of your style and more of how you want to trade, it'll become very evident which things are important to you and which things aren't. Okay, so when that time comes and you're ready to upgrade, you can look through these, see which packages offer what, and then you can move forward, okay? One of the big things, for instance, for me is the volume profile. That is standard on all of my charts. I have to have the volume profile indicator, and it doesn't happen with the free. So for me, I would need at least a Pro package. If for no other reason, I need the volume profile. But again, you can look through this and make your own decision on what's important to you, okay? So let's go back to the TradingView website. Now, the reason we're doing TradingView, there's a lot of charting packages out there, and I actually have been turned on to TradingView not all that long ago. The charting package I've used forever, pretty much ever since I've been in trading, is Sierra Charts. It's the one I still use to this day, but I also use TradingView very heavily. Now, TradingView, a few things that I really like about this, it is completely online. As opposed to a lot of charting package, Sierra Charts being one of these, those packages, a lot of them, are actual software downloads. So you download them onto your computer, and then if you want to access your charts, you have to be on that computer where the download took place, right? Or that has that software on it. TradingView is all online, so anywhere that you have a computer, you can pop this open, you can log in, and it'll have all of your templates, all of your features, all of your layouts saved, and you can access them from anywhere. They have a great mobile version. You can access it from your phone. So it's very intuitive, very user-friendly, and it's very powerful. They offer a lot of really great features. You can customize things and kind of break them down how you want them. So highly recommend TradingView as far as a charting package that you should get started with, okay? Now, let's walk you through this and see what we need to be doing here. At the very front part of this page, there'll be a ticker box where you can type in and you can search for any product that you want. Okay, so if you want to look for a stock, and let's say you just want to look for Facebook, you can type in FB. It'll bring up Facebook on all the different exchanges that you can pick and that you can trade. And if you're ever looking for a product and you can't remember what the name of it is, then you can just, or should I say you can't remember what the ticker symbol is, you can just type in whatever it is. For instance, type in Facebook and it'll still bring it up and show you what the symbol is, and you can select it that way, okay? And you can do this for all sorts of things. As you see, they have stocks, futures, forex, cryptocurrencies, index, all sorts of things that you can click on, all sorts of different exchanges. You can access them. So if you click on one of the products, after you search for it, a few things will happen here. It'll bring up whether or not the market is open, whether it's closed, and then it'll tell you a few things about the product. Okay, it'll bring you a very basic chart, and then again, just some more information about, in this case, the company, but whatever the product might be. Okay, from here, you can go to a full feature chart, and this is where we're going to be focusing, and this is where all of the action is going to happen, so to speak. Okay, so let's see this, and if we go back here, another way to access this, if you're on the TradingView homepage, is just go to charts. And what this will do, this will bring up any of your saved features that you have. on any of your saved layouts. Okay, so if you're logged in, you can go to charts and it'll bring up any one of these, and you can click on it and it'll just pop that open. And however you had it saved, that will be the way that it's laid out for you. Okay, so if we go back to this one of the features here, this is just a pretty standard chart, and this is pretty much how it's going to look whether or not you've signed in before, whether you haven't signed in before. Okay, so let me just walk you through everything that we have going on here so you know where everything is and you can access it. And I'm just going to go through the top toolbar, the side toolbar, this last side toolbar, and then we're going to walk through the charting, the paper trade feature. I've tried it out on here so that we to see how it works. It's very nice, and everything's going to happen right here inside of TradingView. Okay. So the first thing you'll notice up in the corner is another ticker box. So if you're here, you can type in anything you'd like, and it will bring up the symbol for it. So you can just type in Bitcoin. It'll give you all the options there. Okay. If you want something specific, you can just type in the symbol. It'll bring up all your options. And another shortcut to this is if you're anywhere on the chart, you can just type in or start typing, and it'll bring it up right here in the center for you. Okay, so you don't actually have to go to this box. It's a little bit of a shortcut. Anywhere you're at, just start typing and it'll bring it up. All right. Now, right next to this, we have time frames. We've talked a little bit about time frames in the last session. And if you click on this, it gives you just a complete array of time frames that you can click on. And as you interact with these, it'll change the time frame of the chart that you're looking at. Now, another shortcut to this is if you're anywhere on the chart, you can also just start typing, and it will bring up the time frame that you want to look at as well. Okay, so you can also do this for round numbers like 15-minute time frame. Switch it over. You can do it for any random number like 22. It doesn't matter. Okay, it's very customizable. You can do that however you like. And the time frame is going to be changing the candles. Okay, so now each one of these candles is a 22-minute time frame. Okay, so 22 minutes, then a new candle, 22 minutes, and then a new candle, and you can set it up however you like. All right. The next feature we have, as we're moving to the right, are the actual bars or the candles on the chart. Okay, how the chart is going to organize the price data for us. So you have a bunch of different options of how you can set this up. Candlesticks are by far the most popular. This is how I do all of my chart analysis. In some cases, I'll use a Renko chart, but typically always I use candles. And you can explore a few of these different options however you'd like, but candles is an excellent place to start. And this is probably what you'll be using unless there's something that makes more sense to you and that you're comfortable with. Okay, so it'll be set up on candles automatically, I'm sure. And if not, you can go there and just switch to your candlesticks. Now, quick thing on candlesticks, if you're not familiar. Candlesticks provide a certain amount of information with each one of these candles, okay? They're going to be broken down typically into time, and as we're set up now on a 15-minute chart, each one of these candles represent a 15-minute period of time. Now, each candle is going to show you where the price opened, where it closed, where its high, and where its low is, all right? So in this candle, for instance, we have the open, we have the close, we have the low, and we have the high. Okay, that's the information it's giving us. The same thing here. We have the open, we have the close, we have the high, and we have the low. Now, if it closes lower than when it opened, it's going to be a red candle. So we opened, we closed lower, the candle's red. We opened, we closed higher, the candle's green. All right, and that's the basics of how a candlestick chart works. This information we can use a lot of things with. Okay, here's a good example, for instance. This is a doji chart. Okay, we'll cover more of these chart patterns later on, candlestick chart patterns. But a doji is a reversal candle. Okay, so when you see that happen, which you can expect, here's another one. Okay, some dojis here. This is where price is kind of stalling out, and we can expect some reversal to be happening. All right, there's several of these same type of patterns that we can look to. And aside from just the obvious patterns that we can trade off of, if I can find another example here, we can also see kind of when price is being strong and when price is being weak, okay, depending on, here's a good example. Okay, so this is a pretty strong move that we had, and there's really no wick here at the top. It's just a strong move with the candle, and then that move continued. Because again, this is showing us a pretty strong move here. Now, in this, for instance, when we have moves that happen and pretty long wicks, that's showing us that price is moved, but we weren't very confident in those prices. They wasn't very strong because we retraced quite a bit of it, right? And then you can see here this kind of, so there's a lot to tell and a lot of things we can interpret through a charting, through just a simple candles. And that's one of the reasons why I like to use them. Now, Bar charts are by far the second most popular to candles, okay? So if you click those over, this will give you a bar chart option. Bar charts display the same exact data in a slightly different way, okay? So what they do is they'll do the open, the close, the low, and the high. There's no body, but it's displaying the same type of information. The open is always going to be to the left side of the candle, okay? The close is always going to be to the right side. And again, the same thing, if we close lower, it's red. If we close higher, it's going to be green, typically. You can change these colors, obviously, but that's how it is. And then the third most popular way to organize your data is by a line chart. Okay, and this is just a seamless flow of data. There's no breaks in it, and it's just kind of plotting out the movement that data is making. Okay, so this is pretty good for comparing similar products and seeing how they're moving, whether there's any type of correlation or not. There's also some technical analysis for support and resistance. In some ways, it will make this easier. And there's several other options here as well. You can go through these, not necessarily that important to master all of them, but if you'd like to explore them and see if there's better options for you, definitely feel free. But we're going to stick with candles. I'll always be using candles. Okay. We have a compare feature here. You can add this in and you can compare how this is performing to something else if you'd like, and just kind of see if there's any type of correlation or how they're moving against each other. And then we have an indicators tab. Okay. Moving to the right. Now, in TradingView as well, there's a lot of hotkeys and there's shortcuts. So as we're hovering over this, you can see at the bottom it says indicators and strategies. And then right to the right of that, there's a backslash that's kind of highlighted. Okay, and that's telling you that's the shortcut. So you can click on indicators, it'll bring you here, or you can hit the backslash button and it'll bring you there as well. Okay, so this is all of your indicators that are available to you through this package. You have the option to select some of your favorites. So if you're ever on an indicator, you can click this button, the star, and it'll highlight it, and then it will add it into your favorites. Okay, and then if you take it off, you can obviously interchange those out. So there's a lot of built-ins. These are all the indicators that come standard with the package. You can scroll through these, add any of these to your chart that you like. There's a public library, okay? As I said, there's kind of a social aspect to TradingView, and these are indicators that have been created by other users, all right? There's also kind of a ranking system, so to speak, so you can see which ones are popular, which ones are doing well. I use a couple by this Chris Moody fellow, and he creates some good things as well as some other people do, okay? So you can check those out if you'd like. You have scripts, if you ever create any of those. Volume profile. There's a special tab here because this is not available on all charting packages. Again, you need at least the upgraded one. And there's a few options here. We'll be going through all these in detail later on. And then there's a marketplace. Okay, these are some add-ons that you can buy. All of these indicators are going to cost monthly, and you add them onto your charts, and it's just a subscription service. And again, there's several of those you can add in. I don't use any of those, but you can obviously feel free to explore those around. Okay, so just real quick, if you want to add in some indicators to your charts, let's say that you want to use an RSI and see the relative strength index. You have a search tab. You can just type in whatever you're looking for, and it'll bring it up. So there's a relative strength index. We just added that in, and it adds it right into the chart. Anytime you have an indicator on your chart, all you have to do is hover over it and double click, and it will bring up the menu for that indicator. All right, so you have your options of things you can do. You can start by customizing it completely, how thick you want to make the lines, what color you want the backgrounds to be, what color the lines you want to be, all sorts of things. And then you can change the inputs as well, okay? So this is set up on a 14-day. You can move that to a 7-day. It'll adjust it automatically. Okay, so you have a lot of freedom here, lots of ways to customize it. Also, if you're ever in one of your indicators, it's essentially adding in a new pane to the bottom. And inside this pane, if you hover over, you have the ability to make it larger or to make it smaller, okay? You also have the ability to go full size. Okay, and maximize it, and you can drop it back down and go back to its normal pane, okay? So again, a lot of freedom here. If you're ever adding in, let's just say you add in another indicator, okay, and you'd like for this average true range to be on top and the RSI to be on the bottom. Very similarly, there's this other toggle button that you can do, which will switch them around, okay? And you can drop it back down, So just a lot of options, very customizable. If you ever highlight on it and click it just once, you can then just press the delete button and then that indicator goes away completely. Okay, so you can click on it, delete it, and it's gone. All right. So that's the indicators and everything that you need to know there. We'll be going through some of these, but again, there's a lot of options here. If you ever want to test a strictly indicator-based system or add one of those things on, very, very, very simple. Okay. Moving right along, we have an alerts tab here. I'm going to show you, in my opinion, a better way to set up your alerts, so I'm going to skip those for now. Another powerful feature to this chart that goes very unlooked, and I don't think very many traders tap into, is this next feature where it is a chart replay. Okay, this is an incredible feature for several reasons. As we just saw, we had an RSI on the charts, and let's just, again, maybe for sake of argument, this will be easier for me just to show you, but let's say that you're doing an RSI and a Bollinger Band combo indicator. Maybe for some reason this strikes your fancy, and so you want to test this out and see how it works. Well, what you can do is you can click this replay button. You can go back in time where you are seeing some of your setups take place or some of your setups happen, and you can just click anywhere on this chart that you'd like. Okay, and what it does is it erases all of the data to the right, and it just brings you up to speed here. Okay, so it's going to do all your indicators. It's going to do price action. It'll do the bars, everything. And up here you have a few options. If you just press play, and this is a movable menu that you can take with you, but if you just press play, then it'll start playing out what happened and how the market responded, how your indicators responds, how the price is going, and you have the ability to speed it up, to slow it down. So it's really, really powerful for backtesting and seeing how your system is working and performing, and you can watch it happen and not have to practice in a live environment. But then also, this is a very powerful tool for replaying charts and replaying sessions that you've already traded. Okay, what happens is if you sit down and you trade a session, you have the ability to go back and replay that, reanalyze it, see what you could have done better, see what you've missed. And when you're watching a chart that is replaying on higher speed, because remember, each one of these bars are 15 minutes. So if you can sit here and watch this play out at an increased rate, you're going to pick up things that you never would have seen if you're watching it in slow motion as the market is unfolding in real time. All right, you get a completely different perspective. You'll pick up things, the minutia of what's going on, how the market responds in certain situations. Very powerful. If you're looking for outside exercises to be better as a trader, a big thing that I used to do, and I did this for hours upon hours every single week, I would trade all day. When I got into trading, I went in full time. So I traded from when the market opened till the market closed. And then at nights and on weekends, I would just pick random sessions, random days, and I would just replay them. And I would see how the market did, and I would just watch them, almost like I was watching a movie, and just really study price action and really study the charts. And it's a very, very powerful exercise. Okay, so you can tap into this anytime that you want. And to get out of it, you just press the exit button, and this will exit you out of the chart replay, bring you back to the real life, and then we're back. Okay, so don't be afraid to use and abuse this replay feature. Moving right along, this is a customizable thing. I'll talk about this in a second, but this probably won't be there on yours. Here is the layout tab where you can click on this. It'll give you the options depending on what package you have and how many layouts that you can have at one time. For me, I always have 4. This is typically what I like to do. It filters right in with my top step down approach to how I analyze. We'll be covering all of this in much detail later, but I'm going to stick with 1 just for now. I feel like it's a cleaner way to look at what's going on. I'm also going to clean this up a little bit just so we're back to just the chart. Okay. Now here is your options to save your layouts, and you can take this as your current layout, and you can save it, and it'll take it to just put it up on the cloud, and you'll have a copy of this. So if you have a layout that has just one chart here, or broken up into 4 charts, has certain time frames, has certain indicators, has a certain layout that you like, you can save it, and then wherever you're at, again, you can always pop that up and just resume the exact layout that you had before, so you don't have to reset anything up. Okay, so you can do this for a lot of different layouts, and any layouts that you have saved, you can bring up, you can click on them, and just like this, for instance. You click on this Bitcoin one, and it'll bring up this layout for Bitcoin, exactly how I've had it saved the last time that I was here. Okay? And it'll open up in a new tab for you as well. We'll go back to just this one. All right, here you have a gear wheel that's going to bring up the settings for your chart. And this is just, again, where it gets into being very customizable. You can customize the candles that you have. So all of these candles, you can change those around if for some reason you'd like a different color. Black and white is popular for a lot of traders, it seems, where the down candles will be black, the up candles will be white. But you can do whatever you like. No rights or wrongs here. A lot of this is just pure preference, okay? So you can come around here and see what you'd like. If you like to add in the watermark. So don't want to spend too much time on this because this is just preferential. There is a time zone session where you can select the time zone that you're in. So that's how it'll plot it out for your timing, okay? So that can be a very helpful feature for you. There's some trading features. I'll show you this in a minute when we get into talking about paper trading. And then there's an events and alerts tab there as well. Okay. One of the other things that you can do for customize is this theme. You can go with a dark theme if you like, and you can stick with the light theme, whichever one's easier on your eyes. All right. So lots of features there. Again, just very customizable. There's a toggle button to go between full screen and not full screen. And then here you can take a snapshot of your chart. This can be helpful for a lot of reasons, for your journaling, as well as just taking, let's just say you were to sit here and trade a session. You can take this, especially on a smaller time frame, if you were to drill this down, and you can take a screenshot of the chart, and you can use this for reference and use this for studying later on. Okay, you can also, again, use it for journaling and so forth. It's a pretty cool feature. You can snapshot it. Same thing as just taking a screenshot, though. Okay, now, here's a publish feature. You can do this for, again, the kind of the community feel. If you have an idea or a chart you want to publish, you can do it along those lines. It takes it right and makes it public if you're into that. All right, so there's the first kind of tabs, all the bars we need to cover. And let's go ahead and work our way down this side to the far right. Okay, a lot of features here. You have a watch list that you can open up. And this is just your products that you want to keep an eye on, okay? So, for instance, here is one that says crypto. And what you can do is you can walk in here and you can, for instance, just type in anything. And when you click it, it'll add it right to your watch list. So you can have all the products that you want to keep an eye on as far as whatever market that you're looking to trade. And if you click on it, it'll bring it up on a chart for you here and switch those out. You can also, through this menus tab, add a new list. And you might want to type this one as Forex, for instance, okay? And when you start that up, you have a new list now. And with the Forex tab, you can go ahead and just type in any kind of pairings that you want to look at. It'll add them in there as well, and you can just keep going like that, okay? So on this menu tab as well, it gives you the ability to just toggle back and forth between your watch list. So if you're looking at a bunch of different products, that's very handy to have, to where you can just see them all laid out, switch back and forth between them very quickly. Okay. There's also the alerts tab here that'll do all of your alerts that you have managed and open currently. It'll show you which ones that you have triggered. This is just kind of the interface for it. Now, if you're looking to place an actual alert, let me just go back to a chart that looks better. When you're here, you have the option with this little plus sign on the far right side of the chart. When you click on that, you can buy, you can sell, but you can also add an alert, okay? So you can add an alert, and it sets an alert right there for you wherever you are at currently, all right? And so now if price crosses over, it's going to trigger off an alert, all right? So if you double click on this alert, then it'll bring up a tab where you can see several options here. You can change it from when it's crossing up, crossing down, greater than, all these different options here, okay? So this will just be crossing, then it's going to make an alert every single time it crosses. So if price goes up through here and comes back down, cross it again, every time it'll alert, or just the one time. You can have expirations on it, have it play a sound, have it do a little pop-up message. For upgraded packages, you can have it send you an actual text message. You can have it send you an email. Okay, so several things here you can play around with. But if you're ever looking for a setup, maybe price is consolidating down, you're waiting for a breakout before you do anything, you can go ahead and set an alert on the top and the bottom of the consolidation, and then when you don't have to sit there and watch your charts. When the alert happens, you can just be aware and then come back and see what your plan is, okay? And then you can just delete them from there if you want to clean that up, and all the alerts are gone, okay? Underneath here, you have the hot list, or data window, excuse me. This is going to show you just a little bit about your product, the open, the high, the close, what the volume is, so forth. Right underneath that, you have the hot list. This is going to show you for, and again, you can customize this however you want this to show, whatever markets and so forth. But by default, it's just going to show you kind of what the largest volume players are, what the biggest winners, and what the biggest losers are. Okay, it just kind of tells you what's hot, what's moving. There's an economic calendar right here that is actually pretty interesting. It's going to show you for what's happening as far as news releases and things that are coming out. If you're a stock trader, it also has an earning calendar, which is going to, especially during earnings season, is very, very helpful. It'll show you all the companies that are releasing their earnings, what the estimates are and so forth, so you can see if they're hitting or if they're missing. Very cool, very powerful. Also customizable for filters on what markets you don't want to include, what markets you do want to include, and you can change this up however you like. Okay, so very, very nice to have right here. There's an ideas board if you have any ideas you want to log. There's a couple chat features here, again, playing into the social aspect. And then down here, there's notifications. If you have anything that the platform is trying to tell you, you can log them right there. Okay, there's a couple charting trade features right here. One is a depth of market, and the other one is a book order book. Okay, so I'll cover both of those in just a second. If you're ever in any of these tabs, you can just click them again. The tab will go away, and you can bring up your full chart again. All right, so 2 tabs down, let's go ahead to this last panel here. And this is going to be all of your tools and kind of your resources that are available to you with the chart. The first thing is going to be your cursor. So you can have it set, it's kind of set to a dot right now. But if you hover over and click the arrow, it'll give you the option to do a cross, an arrow, an eraser, however you want. You can do that. Right below that is your draw tool for your trend lines. So anything line related is going to be in here. Trend lines, your horizontal rays, anything in there. Those are the 2 that I use primarily. But if you click on a trend line, you can tab that in and you can start drawing them out however you like. Okay, so that's how you'll access those. We'll be using trend lines quite a bit. And then horizontal ray is another one that I like to use. The trend line is just an open and close. A horizontal ray is where you'll push it in, and it'll just take it off for you. Okay, so if there's a certain kind of support and resistance levels that you want to mark off, you can just click it over. It'll mark that off for you, and you can go from there. All right, so several other things you can play around with if you'd like to get familiar with those. Underneath here, you have your Fibonacci retracement tools and basically all of your Fib tools. If you ever get into being a Fib trader, there's a lot of options in here for you and that you can lean on. One of the things I'll do quite a bit is this Fibonacci retracement tool. Now, I don't typically use it for the actual Fib levels, but if I ever have an impulsive move or some type of a substantial move that I'm looking to find a retracement on, I'll use this. And I usually mostly for the 50% retracement, okay? So it'll give you all the Fib levels, and if you double click on it, as with every tool, it'll bring up the control panel, and you can customize it however you like. So most of the levels I have turned off just because I only wanted the 50% retracements, but any levels that you're interested in, you can tweak them however you like, add in as many as you like, and there's your features for your Fib tools, all of them right there. Underneath is a chart drawing tool. So there's a brush that gives you kind of the freehand ability to actually draw in things if you'd like, which can be kind of cool if you have certain levels that you're looking at and you want to be interested in. You can just draw them in and highlight them yourself. Okay, each one of these are going to have to be deleted individually. So you have to go back and delete each one. So make sure you don't go too crazy with that draw tool. All right, I'll take those off. Right underneath, another couple of things here in the draw menu is this extended rectangle, which can be very helpful if there's ever an area that is choppy or maybe a buy or sell zone that interests you. This is how I'll use this tool quite often. What I'll do is grab it, I'll highlight it, and I'll drag it out like that, okay? So I'll know that when price gets there, this is an area that I need to keep an eye on, or this is just like a chop zone that I don't want to trade in. There's several things you can do that. The extended rectangle, I'll use that feature quite a bit as well. Okay, and several other things in there to check out at your leisure if they'll help you. Text is what's coming up next. There's several options here for things that you can put right on your charts. Okay, you can actually do a text bar and make notes to yourself. You can do these bullet points that'll keep notes for you. And there's arrows, just a bunch of things, pretty self-explanatory. Underneath that, for pattern traders and for Elliott Wave, here's a bunch of options in your favor. You can click on those, add any of these to your charts that you like, if those interest you. Now, this next tab down here gives us several good features that we're going to use quite a bit. We have the long position and the short position size calculators. Okay, these are very, very cool. Not the position size, I shouldn't say, but the risk calculators. Okay, some other things as well. But for instance, if you want to take a long position, so let's say you want to get in here and you want to get short, if we break down that, and then you're looking for a new all-time high of this move. Okay, so let's just say that happens and you get some really, really good risk to reward in here. And in this scenario, there's a couple things. If you click on this tool, it's going to give you a lot of options here. It's going to show you right what your risk to reward is. So in this, you know that you're risking $1 to try to make $9.43. Okay, so this is a really, really good risk to reward, obviously. And as you bring this, maybe your risk, your stop loss level down, okay, it changes it. So you can see like now it's a 2-to-1. All right, so that's pretty cool, just to calculate that automatically for you. And then in terms of where you're going, it'll tell you exactly how far away it is in terms of the dollar amount. Okay, this is $76 down, this is $140 up. But it'll also tell you exactly, let me see here. Oh, this is $2.83 up and $1.39 down. Okay, and then it's going to tell you what percentage gain or what percentage loss that is. All right, so it'll tell you 1.89% up, 0.93% down. All right, when you're going to calculate your position size, that's very handy information. We cover a lot more of this when we get to the sections on risk management, but there's how you get to this tool, and there's one to the short side as well. All right, there's an icon feature next that just gives you a bunch of things. I guess if you want to add any of these to your charts, you can add them and fill your charts with it if you'd like, if that helps you. All right. Down below that, we have a measure tool. This is kind of handy. You can take this and you can draw in a section of your chart. Okay. And what this is going to do is it's going to tell you how many bars are included, how much time has elapsed, how much change happened in the market. Okay, so it's just a measuring tool to measure out a section and give you some information about it. This one won't stay on your charts. As soon as you click off of it, it goes away. It's just there to help you measure. We have a magnifying tool that if you highlight a section of your chart, it'll bring it in so you can focus right in on the price action. You can always zoom right back out and get back to where you were. Okay, so a couple other features down here as far as locking in your tools so that they are your drawings so they can't be messed with. And underneath those, there's this eye, which is handy because what this will do, if you find yourself in this type of a position where you have a lot of markups that you want and maybe are useful to you for what you're trying to trade, but maybe it's getting a little cluttered and you want to be able to zoom out and just focus on what the price action is actually doing, you can press this eye and it'll hide everything. Okay, so everything's gone. It's just the clean, pure chart now. And then when you unpress it, it'll unhide everything and put it back just the way that it was. Okay, so that's a really handy feature. There's also a trash can feature. And then, excuse me, underneath this, we have a favorites drawing tab. Okay, I talked about this being a floating menu that was customizable. I'll talk to it later. You can turn that on or turn that off. And any of these features that you star will get added to your favorites. Okay, so this is just quick access to all of those. And again, all of these as well that have a shortcut, it'll tell you what it is right in here. So Alt H, you can do a horizontal line. Anything that has a shortcut, it'll tell you. And below this, we have an object tree. Okay, this is the last tab we're going to be covering. The object tree is going to show you all of the tools and everything that's on your chart. So anything you have drawn on here is going to show up. And what you can do inside of this is one by one manage them. Okay, so maybe the heart icon wants to go. You can just hide it if you'd like. You can physically delete it. You can go through one-on-one and just start deleting stuff off of your chart, cleaning it all up. However you'd like to do that, it's very handy for managing all the stuff you have on your charts. Okay, so there's a really good walkthrough. All of these tools and resources that are available to us will be going through again, obviously, as we talk about technical analysis and give you specific setups and so forth. Even things like volume profiling, we'll be going very, very deep on these topics. But just for general familiarity, you can know how to get a hold of these and how to participate with them. Okay, now let me go ahead and pull up a different product here. All right, and this is going to be the futures contract for Bitcoin, XBT. A lot of you are going to be trading this. I know, among other products, there are a lot of other markets are closed right now at the time that I'm recording this. What I'd like to do is maybe show you the SPY and show you how to trade this with the sim account, but the market is closed, so it's not going to let me place those trades. So let me just find one that's open and that doesn't close, and so that we can see how this is going to work, okay? Now, the last thing I want to do is show you how to set yourself up with a trading paper account. If you go to the bottom of your chart, there'll be several options down here, and just like any of these other panes, if you hover over, you can make it larger just for sake of easy use. Now, we have, I'll actually walk you through a few of these as well. There's a screener here that if you click this tab will let you do stocks, Forex, or crypto. All right, so for instance, if you're a stock trader, this gives you access to have a free screener that just comes complimentary with the charting package. You can filter this in to where it'll bring you up really all sorts of things, but however you are looking for, whatever kind of setups you want to find, if it's just something as simple as very volatile trades, okay, you say any stock that is, up 5% in volatility or 30% in volatility, whatever you're looking for, it'll bring those in and just filter those out and just show you those ones, okay? And again, there's a lot of other things you can do here, but it just helps sort through all of, the 1,000+ stocks that are out there, bring them to you and filter them down to just a handful that you can then look at and see what you want to do with. Same thing with Forex, same thing with crypto, okay? So helpful feature you should play around with and get familiar if you're trading any of those markets. There's text notes, Pine Editor if you're into anything with coding. You can script out your own tools, your own resources, your own indicators. If you're using an indicator that somebody else created, you can copy and paste it right in here, and then you add it to your chart. It'll overlay. Very, very simple to use. And there's a strategy tester guide and this paper trading, okay? Paper trading is where I'd like for us to go. I'm going to go ahead and try to disconnect this. I was just using it earlier. Now, if you're not connected to anything, this is exactly what it should look like. These are other exchanges that are their brokerages that you can link right to TradingView. TradingView has the option for their paper trading. Okay, so paper trading by TradingView, you're going to click on that, and what that's going to do is that's going to turn it live. Okay, if this green dot is highlighted, then you are connected and you are ready to go. Now, this is going to, by default, if you ever restart this, it's always going to restart it to a $100,000 account. What I would suggest, and I really want you to pay very close attention to this and give you a word of caution here. When you are paper trading, there is just a very natural pull to want to use a big account and to walk in here with a $100,000 account and just start putting on very big positions and just acting a fool, really, in the markets. Okay, I've did this for a while, and it's just something that we all kind of naturally want to do, and I think it's fun at some level, but this is a very bad habit to get into. Okay, for you to be in a paper environment and be trading very large size, you're training yourself to pick up some very bad habits, and it's going to be very, very unproductive. You don't want to get stuck in just messing around and playing games in a paper environment. It's not helpful for you, okay? It's crucial, and it's a great way to build your craft and to hone in on your skills. But if you're just messing around with it, it's a very bad tool, and it can actually set you back and stunt your growth, okay? So I really, really want to encourage you that when you're using any type of a paper trading environment, to try to use character and implement as closely to a real environment as you can, okay? So if you're in here, and let's say you're starting with a $1,000 account, a $5,000 account, a $10,000 account, however much money you will actually be starting with, use that. So here on the gear wheel, open that up, press reset paper trading account, and type in whatever you're going to be using. If it's $5,000, type in $5,000 and then press reset. Then this will give you an account balance of $5,000. That's what you have to use. And this will tell you if you have anything that's open. We don't have any trades on right now, so this is just good to go. Okay, so this will show you your positions, your orders, the history of what you've done, your account summary, what you have, what you've started with, what you have, anything you have open. Trade journal, this is just going to give you an outline. I'll actually show you all this in a second. Might be better once I place a trade, but there's a lot of features here. It just tracks some of the basic information for you. Now, once you're live, there's a few options here. You can, let me go ahead and zoom this out a little bit. Okay, you have the option to click on this little plus sign here again, and it's going to give you the ability to just buy or sell straight from that. We have a couple other options here as well. One of the options is going to be this depth of market. Now, this is not quite as intuitive here. This isn't that great of a resource, but a depth of market tool, this DOM, is how I place all of my trades, okay? It's a superior way, in my opinion, to interact with the market and be able to manage your positions. In this paper environment, it's not necessarily that great. So we also have this option, which will pull up a pretty intuitive order book that gives you a lot of things that you can do with the market, okay? So this will act pretty seamlessly with the chart as well. So if you ever have a spot that you're looking to get in, you can just go ahead and buy or sell, and it'll populate all this information for you, so you don't have to sit there and actually manually enter it all, okay? And then it won't confirm until you actually press it. So let's not do that trade yet, but let's look at how this looks again. And again, you just open it up here. This will be your order book, and you can toggle this. One of these options, I believe, makes it bigger or smaller. Okay, maybe it's actually one size. Now, with here in this thing, you have a very limited amount of orders that you can, this is just the basic orders that you can place. You can do a market order, a limit order, or a stop order, okay? We will be going through a little bit more of the technical analysis basics, and I'll be walking you through in depth very clearly what all the order types are, when you should be using them, how you should be using them, how you should not be using them. And this is a fairly simple subject, but a lot of traders get into trading for months and months and sometimes years, and they do not understand fully how the order types work and how they should be using them, okay? So for sake of not going through them now, I want to go through them in an environment where I can show you slides and give you examples and do bullet points, because I think the information will stick with you a lot better. And so all of these, if any of this is confusing, just know that it will be covered on how to place trades. But for now, I just want to show you how to use these tools, and then as we go through it, you can add in and you can pick up on it, okay? So for now, we're going to be just placing a market order. A market order is going to give you the ability to buy immediately. So the next available price, you're just going to get filled, okay? So in this example, we want to do 1,000 quantity, sure. And we want to, we're going to go ahead and let's buy at the market. Okay, so it gives us a few things here. The order was placed. Here, the order was executed. Okay, and now you can look at your positions and see that we were on the buy side, 1,000. This was our average fill price. And this is also going to tell us what our profits are. Okay, so right now, okay, we're moving just a little bit. It'll go up and down with what we're doing for profits. And you can do this on virtually any product, okay? Oh, I'm sorry. Let me not get ahead of myself here. So here we are. We're inside of a trade. Now, what you can do from here is once you're inside the market, you can even do this before you're in the market, but before you enter any type of a trade, you're going to have some type of a system and a reason for why you're executing it, okay, once we start learning these things out. And so you can go ahead and put in your risk management. If, let's say, we're going long here and this was our, let's just do this. Let's say that we, did some type of a long position tool here, and we were looking for us to, for whatever reason, get to the 37.30, and if we break down below the 36.89, we're going to get out. So we have a little less than 2-to-1 risk to reward on this trade. This is where we're placing our stops. Okay, so we come down here and you can just line up right on the price. Click that, we're long. So here we would want to sell and we would want to get out. So we can place this trade and it'll put in our stop, and we can come up to the upside here, press sell as well. And that is going to put in our profit target, okay? So now these are going to be, and let me get this out of the way. These are going to be open orders that are resting in the book that are waiting to get executed on. So now we can let this play out. If we reach our upper target, this is going to execute and give us profit. This will execute and protect us to get us out of this trade if we're wrong, all right? And again, you can see this down here in your paper trading, this is going to be your positions that you're currently in. These are going to be the orders that you have in the book, okay? All your orders, here's your working orders. So these working orders are waiting to get filled. These are your closed and open orders. These are your working ones, okay? So you can always see what you have working there. In this platform, you have the ability to just drag and drop. So if you're having, maybe let's say you want to move this stop loss up a little bit and protect yourself some more, you can do that and just click modify. It'll modify your order and you'll be set and ready to go, okay? You can also, at any time, press the close button and that will execute out your trade. There is not an option to do it here that I could find, but in this depth of market, there is also a cancel all feature down there that if you click on that and press yes, it'll liquidate all of your open orders, okay? Just make them go away all at one time so you don't have to sit there and manually click on each one. And if you're in this feature and you just cancel it out, it'll only cancel out the actual order you have in the market. The open orders that are waiting to get filled, those won't go away. Okay, so that's a little strange, but that's how you would go about that. Okay, so again, this will show you your positions, kind of what you're doing, where you're at in the market, and you can minimize all of this, maximize any of this, and this will be a running tally of what you have going on in the market. Okay, and you can do this for virtually any product that doesn't require you to pay for the data. If you're doing something on the ES, for instance, on the ES you have to pay for that data, even the simulated real-time data. So the charting packages will not provide that for free. Typically, if you want a platform that's going to allow you to do a free charting package with them, that'll be something that's always charged, because a portion of that money is going to go for paying the data. But any markets that don't require it, the cryptos, stocks, Bitcoin, or cryptos, Forex, all of those, you shouldn't have any problem bringing in their charts and actually trading those products, okay? And let's go ahead and just close out of this one so that we can see what's going on here. Okay, now in this one we had a real unrealized loss. Let me see here, order placed, so the market. Oh, okay. Actually, when we went to sell that, we got the same exact price that we got our entry on. Okay, so we ended up scratching that trade. So it wasn't a winner, wasn't a loss. So we still have, if we go to our account summary, this is still our same exact balance. Okay, so if that was debited or if that was posited, then that would have changed, but there was no change there. This Bitcoin is being pretty flat right now. Okay, but that's the process. That's how you'd go about that. One more thing I'd like to bring up for you, if you are in a position, okay, and I'll cover this a little bit more, but I want to outline this right now for you, because I know several of you are going to see me trading the ES, the futures contract for it. It's a very large product, and it can be a little daunting and probably not the best product to start on, depending on your account size. But if you want to trade an alternative, this is the ETF for the S&P 500. Okay, so there's 3 different products you can trade for the S&P 500. You can trade the cash, you can trade the ETF, and you can trade the futures contract. So I trade the futures contract. SPY, this spider, is the symbol for the ETF. That's the S&P 500. Now, something that's interesting about this, and if we do the compare feature here, I can actually bring up the ES and show you. We want to do the March. Okay. Let me bring in this as a candlestick chart as well. Okay, but what you can see here is down below, this is going to be the SPY. This is going to be the S&P 500. Okay, and you can see if I line these up that they move virtually identically in sync with each other. Okay, these are different products, but they trade almost identical. These are different 15-minute bars, but they line up. Okay, the big difference here is going to be the price. Here's the price of the S&P 500, the futures contract, 26.70. The SPY price is 26.6 or 266.42. But so that's going to be a big difference there as far as where the price is. But even if you were to draw a volume profile on the ES and a draw volume profile on the SPY, low volume nodes, high volume nodes, they're going to line up identically. All right. The only difference is the price of where they're at is going to be different, but they'll be in the same exact spots. I say all that just to say that as I show you how to set up brokerage accounts, if you want to trade the SPY along with me, it's a much smaller product, but it moves the same. So as I'm trading live, the larger futures product, you can trade the ETF and give yourself a little bit more freedom there to kind of interact. And you'll be trading the ETF, not the futures contract. So the moves will be much smaller, and you don't have to have such a strong hand in the market like with a futures contract. Okay. So just some food for thought to kind of wrap up this session, but I'll be covering more of those things later. But if you're a little farther along and you want to jump in there, feel free to check out the SPY. Okay, so that's virtually everything that you need to know about this charting package TradingView. So make sure before you really move on, go ahead, sign yourself up for an account, at least the free version. Get in here, start getting familiar with it, start playing with these features. Go ahead and get your paper account up and going live. And then as soon as we start covering things, and even before then, feel free to start playing around in the sense of just exploring, seeing how things work, getting familiar with this depth of market or this order book, because inevitably you're going to make a lot of mistakes when you trade. You're going to be in a position where maybe you're long, and in order to get out, you have to sell it. You have to sell it, right? And this will happen where, okay, this is where I'm getting in for my long, and this is where I'm getting out for my stop loss. What happens is you'll be long, and instead of getting out, you'll actually add to your order, because instead of putting a sell order here, you'll put a long order here. And so instead of hitting your stop loss, you've doubled your order, and now you're losing money twice as fast. Okay, those kind of mistakes are just part of the learning curve, and you're going to be making those. So in a paper environment, start figuring it out, start getting a higher level of competence, and you'll be all the better for it. And you'll get to a place of accelerating your learning curve much quicker as you get in and as you participate with these things. Okay, so go ahead and jump into all this. When you all are ready, you can jump to the next session, and I will see you there.